How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Jeff, aka SonOfMar on the PlayStation Network. Or, as you can call it, I am Groot. I am Groot. Got Witcher over here. And got my Batman Nuka World over there. I also got John Wick in the corner out of shot. And I have Wonder Woman right behind the camera. And I got Batman over there too. I have a lot of posters. Sorry I've been gone for so long. Quick and short answer. I'm going to keep it sweet so that, I can get on to what I want to talk about and not waste your guys' time and be around the bush. Family shit. Girlfriend came in town from South Dakota. I've been gone for a while, and I have not had the chance to do anything about E3. I've wanted to do stuff about it, but I just haven't had the goddamn time. So, because that fucking life keeps happening. So I finally have a day where I'm like, hey, I had nothing to do. Let's bang out some videos. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So, I'm going to talk about E3. I'm going to wrap things up from E3. I'm going to do a really quick summary of my thoughts on everything, but also I'm going to move on from that and kind of start predicting what I think will happen at Paris Games, a little bit at Gamescom maybe. TGS is going to be a big one I'll touch on, and finally PSX. So really this is going to be me kind of predicting the future for crystal ball bullshit. So without further ado, thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoy. So my thoughts on E3. I'm going to touch on Nintendo, then Xbox, and then Sony. But I'm going to do a quick touch on Ubisoft, EA, Bethesda, and Devolver. First off, Devolver. Fucking crazy. But I love the humor of it. I like the aspect of it. I don't know if they can do a conference like that again without feeling kind of stagnant. I feel like it was so over the top that if they did it again, it'd be like, okay, yeah, we've seen this before. You guys are weird. We get it. I was also kind of disappointed with the kind of announcements it had in terms of actual gameplay of games. I was hoping to see an actual couple more games than it had, but it was fun. It was funny, and it didn't take itself seriously at all. It poked fun at the industry, and it was cool. I'm kind of hoping that Devolver continues to do something akin to that. I would love to see them actually do a web series going into the week of E3 doing that kind of stuff, where it's a 5-minute blurb of Devolver being like, yeah, we're doing this game, and it's basically poking fun at upcoming game announcements like fucking Battlefront 3 or some shit, right? So, EA, basic, boring, by the numbers, it's same shit, different day. Will say the story mode for Madden is interesting. I like it. Even though it's basically copying what 2K basketball has been doing. Need for Speed, they should just call it a fucking Fast and Furious game. What else? Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a thing. Finally, re-announced, and all the rumors have been true. Exciting. I like the first one, so we'll see what the second one's got in store. I love the concept of it. That's a prequel way before the first one, so I'm just happy for Ansel. He's also working on the game Wild, so I kind of almost want him to be like, hey, we're still working on Wild, don't worry, that's still a fucking game, because Wild looked sick. So I'm hoping to hear, and that'll be something I'll touch on for Gamescom, but I'm hoping that's a game that pops up in the future. As for the rest of EA, again, it was just by the numbers. It was DLC for Battlefield, and Battlefront the story mode looked cool, but the multiplayer was meh. So, I don't know. We'll see. I just, maybe I'm not in the mood for a first-person shooter, because I'm kind of the same way with Activision and Destiny 2. I'm like, I don't care. I really fucking don't. I don't care about the World War II for Call of Duty. I just don't give a shit about any of it. Instead, I want to play games like Ghost Recon Wildlands, which isn't a great open-world third-person shooter, but I'm in that mood where I want to play games like Far Cry 5. Not interested. I could give a shit. I really don't. But then again, that game actually kind of looks like hot garbage to me, honestly. The third one was so good, and Blood Dragon was so good. Then the fourth one came out, and I was like, okay, this is fine. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's fine. It's decent. And this one just doesn't look like it's an evolution at all. I don't know. I'm bothered by it, but I don't know. You can call me butthurt or whatever you want to call me. I love my tea. Anyway, Assassin's Creed actually kind of intrigues me. I wasn't sold on it initially, but I've been actually watching a lot more gameplay of it. And the more I watch, the more I go, okay, it's got RPG mechanics to it. I dig that. And it seems like a new kind of step in terms of combat, in terms of everything. It looks like a new style. And I dig that. I dig that a lot. So I'm willing to give this one a chance because I played Unity for maybe half an hour. I was like, this feels like shit. I'm not going to play this. I didn't even touch Syndicate. Haven't touched any of them really ever since Black Flag. And I like Black Flag a lot. But I played Unity and I was like, nope. I'm okay. Nope, I'm right. So I can't remember anything else from Ubisoft, and I probably accidentally put. I did. Now that I think about it, I did. I put Beyond Good and Evil with EA. They're Ubisoft. My bad. For some reason, I feel like there's something at EA's conference I really, really like. Oh, it was A Way Out. A Way Out looks awesome. It's made by the guys that made Brothers. Love it. Love the fact that you have to play this co-op. So I dig that game so much. I'm excited for it. I'm probably going to buy day one. I bought a lot of games day one lately, though. I feel like that's pretty much it in terms of games that like either made me go meh or grab me, for both of those conferences. I really want Life is Ditto for the Vita if that can happen. So Devolver. Nintendo. Nintendo has sold me on a Switch. I mean, it's that simple. I finally got around to playing ARMS. I have played Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 is fine. ARMS is a lot of fun. But really, Legend of Zelda is amazing. I knew that already. But the lineup that's coming out looks a lot stronger than I expected. I thought, the Mario Galaxy was going to be a game that sold me. And I expected it. But what I didn't expect was the Mario XCOM Raving Rabbids crossover to be so fun and cool in a weird way. So that one has my interest big time. Pokemon's gonna be on the Switch. Metroid is coming, which excites me a lot. There's a lot of indie support coming and things like that. So I mean, the Switch is getting some really good stuff that I'm personally really excited about. My one that I want, and I hope some of it might get announced at TGS or Gamescom or whatever, is that there's a Luigi spinoff coming. Another like Luigi's Mansion 2, because I love Luigi's Mansion. I want another one so bad. Or maybe, a Princess Peach game or something like that. I don't know. I would just love to have another spinoff Mario game on top of the XCOM game. And I would love to see a Donkey Kong game come soon. But we'll see. I don't know. Anyway, so Nintendo sold me. Love the conference. Thought it was great. Well paced. Blah, blah, blah. Xbox. The One X is announced. Not going to get it. I'm going to stick with getting the Xbox One S because, in my viewpoint, PlayStation, PlayStation's in a weird spot, or not in a weird spot. They're in kind of the debatable better position that, the Xbox One X is coming out, but most people that have a PS4, especially me with a Pro, which is a large section of people, are looking at the One X and going, it'd be cool to get it, but why would I when the PS5 is probably coming out in 2 years? And that's probably going to be at least as powerful, if not more, because that's where we're at now. Xbox is at a kind of confusing stage where the Xbox One versus the PS4 was better. The PS4 ran a little better, did better resolution, all that stuff. Like it did things a little better. So then the S came out and it kind of leveled the playing field while having the trump card of basically being like, you guys didn't make a 4K drive. I was like the thing that the Slim didn't do and the Pro didn't do, which I'm still salty about the Pro not doing that. I don't know why they didn't do that, but whatever. At least, whatever. But that's what the S did. That was like, the resolution is going to be more solid than this thing. It's going to run better. It's smaller. It's not nearly as bulky, which was another thing that PlayStation had on its card. And it had the 4K ability. It had UHD, or it had HDR compatibility and some upscaling it could do. But it didn't do anything in terms of 4K in terms of nativeness. It did more checkerbox and stuff like that, kind of like what the Pro does, but the Pro can do some things native. It's all up to individual games. I think, like, for instance, the game in the background right now, Wipeout, I think, is native, I want to say 4K, along with 60 frames? Maybe? I forget what the specs are. I'll have to look at that. It's been a while since I played that, actually. I've been busy playing Crash and everything else except for fucking Persona. Oh, I need to get back to playing Persona. Anyway, but the Xbox One X is basically speaking to the hardcore Xbox community, which is not a bad thing. It speaks to my buddies, Javi and Samir, the guys that you've seen and maybe or heard from in previous videos. It speaks to them, kind of like the Pro did to me. It was a no-brainer. I was going to get it because I was like, oh, it runs PlayStation games better. Yeah, and Horizon's coming out. So, yeah, I'm going to get one because I want to play Horizon and Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy in the best condition they can be. And on top of that, it's future-proofing because I know that I want to get a 4K HDR TV. Like, I know that. So that is going to be a Black Friday purchase for me this year, hopefully. And by hopefully, it will be. I just need to figure out what one I exactly want. I have an idea of what one I want. But anyway. So for me, I'm like, I don't need that. And I can't really afford to get an Xbox One X, the 4K HDR TV, a sound bar and sound system and all that. And manage, all that shit. But I can get an S. I might get an S. I still haven't really even been sold on getting an S yet. But that's a whole other thing. That's my own personal shit. I'd like to get it. But I might even try and just wait even a little bit longer and try and build a rig. But we'll see how that goes. I'd like to get a better paying job before I try and venture down that rabbit hole. But anyway. Point is, the Microsoft conference was focused on the Xbox One X, which is fine. Sold to the hardcore community. But again, it's kind of almost like the same argument of the PlayStation Pro. Who's this for? It's for the hardcore. It's not going to sell the people that are kind of casual. The casual people are going to go where their friends are, which means they're going to buy the PlayStation console. I mean, for Christ's sakes, my Samir and Javi, 3 years ago, I tried to tell them, hey, get a PlayStation. They're like, yeah, I'll wait. And then end up getting it now. And that's been happening. People are, still coming to the PlayStation. And granted, people are picking up Xboxes too, but it's happening more the 2-to-1 ratio for Xbox or PlayStation than the Xbox. That's just because more people are on one platform. It's the same thing with the 360. I bought a 360 because pretty much everyone in my high school had one. I was like, it makes sense to get that. I want to play with my friends on Call of Duty. I'm not going to get a PS3 at this time just to play Resistance, even though that game is fucking amazing. And all the games on the PS3 are fucking amazing. Anyway, that's why I'm glad I got it in college. And I still have it. It's right here. I have my PS3 right next to it. So the Xbox conference had a lot of what I expected. Crackdown 3 and Forza and, that kind of ilk. And I was like, yeah, looks fine. Forza looks amazing, as always. Which I will touch on the Forza GT Sport stuff in another video. But basically, I think Forza is still going to be the reigning champ. But I think Sport is starting to show signs of, hey, GT's listening. But they have a ways to go. The fact that they don't have a campaign mode, like a A-Spec and a B-Spec mode for GT Sport, as far as I'm aware, really, really bothers me. Because that's my favorite shit of that franchise, the solo stuff. I don't care about the online stuff as much. So I'm hoping, at the very least, that they're going to patch that in later and not charge people. Be like, yeah, we didn't have the time to do this. We needed more time, so we're pushing out the online stuff first, along with the campaign tutorial stuff to get you into the online stuff and kind of give you something to do offline if you have the chance, while we finish making the A-Spec and the B-Spec modes. And we're releasing them as free updates. That's what should happen. If they try to release that shit as DLC, they're going to get a significant amount of backlash. But anyway, that's a whole other video. But, Xbox showed a lot of pretty promising titles, to be honest. So my thinking is that Xbox had a really solid conference. And it spoke to the Xbox community. But it didn't have as many games I was personally excited about. And a lot of them, honestly, I was like, okay, why did you have to... It felt like a lot of it was almost like not a buffer, but almost like a filler. A lot of it felt like almost kind of like filler. Whereas like, okay, these are fine looking games, but why did they need to be on an E3 floor? Like, why did this need to be such a long conference? Like, that was my big takeaway from that conference, is that it felt really long for some reason. And it felt almost like arbitrarily long. So that bothered me. But overall, a lot of good announcements, though. The neon side-scrolling 2D... I am forgetting the name of it now. Not the long night. The last night, or the last night. It's a neon game. Anyway, looks really, really good, and it has my interest. It has like a Blade Runner kind of aspect to it. I'm like, I dig this. Sucks it's not on PlayStation, but hey, whatever. Looks good. Anyway, Crackdown looks fine. Looks like Crackdown. Sea of Thieves, still not sold on it. Looks interesting, but also looks like it's probably going to still be kind of buggy when it comes out. And I don't know. It doesn't really click with me. I don't know. What are the other games that I really actually enjoyed a lot from Xbox? My buddy Javi was talking about in the last video that we did, he really liked the Nine Tails or whatever, the kind of almost like the Conquer looking platformer game. Still not sold on it. I rewatched it again. I was like, I don't see it. I don't see it. But maybe this is Xbox's new Crash, or I don't know. Maybe this is them experimenting with Conquer, which isn't the right way to do it. If they're gonna do Conquer, they need to do Conquer right. But whatever. Anyway, Xbox as a whole, their conference was fine. They had a lot of announcements. It went very quickly. It was very bang, bang, bang. A lot of games. The problem is that a lot of the games kind of landed flat, I think, in a way, because there's just like so many of them that some of them are like, why did you need to show this right now? This feels like buffer. And then some of them were really good and really surprising. And it was, I don't know, it was a weird mishmash, I think. And it kind of almost rolled over into PlayStation too, because PlayStation did some weird choices too for their stuff, which I'll talk about now. But as a whole, Xbox had a pretty solid conference. I might have sounded more negative than I meant to be, but I liked it. It just, again, it wasn't for me. It was more for the people that are the hardcore audience. Whereas the PlayStation conference spoke more to me, but it was because I'm a huge fucking Sony nerd. I have a goddamn PlayStation watch, for Christ's sakes. See? So, which I love that shit. Even though every time I wear it, the humidity gets somehow inside of it and it fucking fogs it up. So, for me, the PlayStation conference was strong. I still think Nintendo's was the strongest, and then I'll probably put Xbox and PlayStation at even level. And the reason why I say that is because Xbox had a lot of announcements, but not all of them were good. PlayStation had a lot of great announcements, but they also had some flops too. Shadow of the Colossus remake, remaster from the ground up, awesome. Sucks that it finally got announced that there won't be additional Colossi made, at least at this moment. I'm hoping that the original creator with Team Eco comes in and goes, hey, let's work on making some more Colossi that fit into the world. And that's just, that's incorporates new stuff. Instead of doing a complete, remake, let's do something, let's do a reimagining in a way, in some aspects. So, but even if it's just a complete from the ground up of the same game from the PS2, and it's just a prettier, newer version, I'm still gonna fucking love it, because hopefully they fix the mechanics. Because that shit's archaic. That's one of the things that bothers me about Last Guardian, but I still love that game because of the story, but I still need to finish it. Oops, awkward. Days Gone looks great. I think the floor demo of it really helps sell the game better. The first demo that came out last year was more, okay, it's a run and gun Last of Us, cool. This year's more, okay, we're getting a better idea of the identity of this game. It's more of a survival. It's not like The Last of Us where it's more kind of, not tunneled, but it's more like you need to go this way. You can kind of do what you want along the way, but you do it in a certain path. There's not a lot of variability for the most part. You can kind of approach situations the way you want, but there's a limit to that. It seems like Days Gone has a way bigger variety in terms of like how you want to approach stuff and how you can approach stuff. And what really proved that to me was the offstage demo where they're talking about wintertime and the different it's alternative gameplay reel that PlayStation put up about 2 weeks ago, and it looks great. I saw it when they were talking about it live, but the actual release of it with Sam Witwer, or I'm gonna blank on his name. I want to say Whittemer, but it might be wrong. The voice actor for Deacon in the game, they talk about the game, and it shows like, oh, it's snowy, and that the freakers act differently. They're stronger, and they come out more in the snow. It showed a different aspect in terms of the assault on the bandit camp to get to the guy at the end of it. It was more violent. It was more assaulty. It wasn't using the swarm to help clear the camp. It was more, I'm going to run it and I'm going to shoot everyone, basically. I think the gunplay needs a little work. But after seeing that, I was like, okay, this game's pretty far along. But it's not as far along as I thought. The floor demo made me think, maybe this game could potentially come out by the end of the year. After seeing the alternative gameplay, I was like, okay, it's not this year. There's no way. It is probably going to be before Spider-Man, but it's going to be right next to Spider-Man. So my thinking is that God of War is going to hit February, and Spider-Man's going to hit June, July. Detroit Almost Human will probably fall, I would assume, March, maybe April. And GT Sport is supposedly coming out in October, which is fine. A few other games I could fill the gaps, but I'm thinking that May, like mid to late May / maybe early June, if Spider-Man needs to drop to July, that's where Days Gone's gonna fit. That's where it's kind of implant itself, which is more than fine. Studio Bend needs a little bit more time. They've been working on the game for a while, but this hasn't been, because they haven't made games since Golden Abyss, but they haven't been only working on this since Golden Abyss. They took like almost 3 years to work on other games before they even touched this one. They were working on a Uncharted game and Infamous game. I'll touch on that in a video that I'm going to do specific on Bend, but that's what they were doing. Gross. But that's where I'm thinking Days Gone's going to be at. I'm excited about it. Detroit looks good, looks great. David Cage needs to get it fucking done, though, because I've heard about it for such a long time. He needs to goddamn finish it. So hurry the fuck up, David Cage. David Cage. Jesus Christ, I can't talk, and I'm drinking tea. Come on. Lost Legacy looks amazing. Flat out, looks amazing. I haven't watched any gameplay since because I want to keep as much suspense as I can. But it looks amazing. I'm excited about it. Nadine and Chloe's relationship looks super interesting. And the fact that this is going to be the new team at Naughty Dog working on. It's not Neil and it's not Bruce. It is, I forget the two individuals that are leading the cause, but they're like the new crop that's rising that is getting an opportunity to work on this, and it looks amazing. So to kind of give a background, Naughty Dog used to be two teams when they were working on The Last of Us and Uncharted 3 with Amy Hennig and Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley on their separate projects. And then when Uncharted 4 came out, Amy was working on it, and then Neil and Bruce got involved, basically, because the direction of the game wasn't exactly where the president wanted it to be, and eventually Amy left because she didn't really like what was happening, because they're trying to incorporate more of a darker vibe, I think, and whatnot, and Bruce and Neil were bringing their vision of the game, and it was clashing a lot with Amy, so then Amy dropped off, and, basically her version of the game got scrapped. I don't think all of it did, but I think a good chunk of it got changed. I think, obviously, Sam's character changed a lot, and I think the overall story itself was changed, which is why the game took an extra year to come out. And luckily, all that happened at the very beginning of the development of the game, basically, versus, midway or towards the end. But anyway, now Naughty Dog is kind of in this cool and interesting cycle, where Uncharted 4 is pretty much finishing up dev. Like, it's finishing development, and by that point, I would say I don't know, 3 to 4 months before the game went gold. I'm assuming Neil branched off and took a small team with him, and they started storyboarding and working on The Last of Us 2 by that point. Maybe even earlier than that. But basically, when Uncharted 4 was kind of on the cusp of like, okay, we have the ball rolling and it's rolling downhill, and very much we just need to keep working on it and working out. There's no real big changes need to happen. I think Neil took a team and was like, all right, in the meantime, we're also going to start working towards Last of Us Part 2. And at that same point, once Uncharted 4 got done, Bruce walked away and he's like, I'm going to take a little bit of a sabbatical and I'll come back. And I think Bruce will come back with his supposed concept of a sci-fi game. So we're kind of in this interesting loop where we have this sub-team of Neil and Bruce taking over and doing The Lost Legacy. Neil has the majority of the Naughty Dog team working on The Last of Us Part 2, while a subsection is finishing up, wrapping up The Last Legacy, and is going to merge back in with Neil's team to help move along The Last of Us Part 2. And then when Bruce comes back, I think he might touch base with Neil, but really he'll start working and take a section of the Naughty Dog team, because by the time he comes back, The Last of Us Part 2 will be fairly heavily underway. He'll take a small chunk. They'll start storyboarding and working on their new concept of the sci-fi game, or whatever it's going to be, whether it might be a new Jak and Daxter or something wholly new. I think it might be a new IP. They're going to storyboard that for about 6 months, and then eventually when The Last of Us 2 starts to hit a point where it's like, okay, the ball's rolling, kind of like Uncharted 4, they'll start siphoning people over to Bruce's team, and I think it's going to work like that, where I think it's going to be Neil's going to have his team, Bruce is going to have his team, and then this new crew is going to start working on the sub-projects for like The Last of Us Part 2 and Uncharted and whatnot, where they're going to do like the expansions, because Neil and Bruce aren't going to do this forever, so they're going to be the ones that will eventually take over, take the lead, and then they're going to bring some of the best crop, and that's how it's going to be working. It's kind of like baseball. You bring up the young kids, they learn from the veterans, they do some of the small roles, and then eventually they'll hand the torch over, and then they take off from there. That's kind of how baseball works, and that's kind of how this is working out, and I think it's interesting. But I'm spending a lot of time on Naughty Dog. I apologize for that. Point is, Lost Legacy looks amazing. I'm excited about it. But the indies that were shown and the VR games that were shown at PlayStation could have been better. The indies were alright, but I feel like they could have picked a better way of showcasing them. And Sony had some issues with audio and video at a couple different points. Granted, a lot of people were like, oh, it's just the stream, Twitch is fucking up, YouTube is fucking up, like it's just like the input lag or whatever. But I'm like, come on. That should not be a problem. It shouldn't be. Sorry. No. And the VR stuff, I feel like PlayStation could have done a better job of picking better games to show. They did a quick sizzle reel again, but there are a lot of really cool looking games in that sizzle reel that they didn't really go into depth about, that they should have, versus the games they did go into depth about. So I was like, that sucks. Lastly, I know a big complaint for some people is that Sony didn't have any big hitters, like no random like new Infamous game, or whatever Sucker Punch is working on, or nothing from Kojima Productions in terms of Death Stranding, nothing like that. And I get that, but at the same time, I saw the writing on the wall when I was kind of watching the conference. I was like, okay, they should have done the pre-show with the main show. They should have done what Xbox did, but done the pre-show combined with the actual conference, so that it was all one thing, and I cut some fat here and there. Because then you would lead the show with, here's everything that's coming out this year. Now the rest of this is going to be everything coming next year after December. That way, everyone gets kind of like their little takes. They get their takeaways. Because I think that was the big complaint. A lot of people that were watching the conference were like, there's nothing here that's come out this year. It's like, yeah, because everything that was at the pre-show. You should have watched the pre-show. And it's like, well, we didn't know that. It's like, well, Sony fucked up on that front. So, lastly, on the PlayStation conference that I'm going to talk about is basically going forward. I'm hoping that the next E3 is going to be still loaded with stuff. I think the next E3 is when we're going to see The Last of Us 2. official gameplay and everything. And we might get the official announcement of whatever Bruce is working on, depending on how early it is. But that's all my thoughts on E3 besides Bethesda. Bethesda is a quick one. I thought Bethesda's was great for the most part. I didn't like the fact that they focus again on so much on Skyrim. Like, it's like, guys, move the fuck on. We get it. This is a moneymaker for you. It's kind of like Bo Burnham. We're not gonna beat this dead horse until it stops spitting out money. Like, we're gonna stop when this doesn't make us money. It's like, I get it. That's a corporate thing to do, but fucking move on. Do something else. But Wolfenstein 2 looks amazing. I'm gonna pre-order it as soon as I can. Evil Within 2 looks great. I'm excited about it. Looks weird as fuck, but interesting. The VR stuff looks really cool. I would love to play the Doom VR. Looks interesting as fuck. And the SonOfMar expansion looks interesting. I like how it touches on people from the first game, from the expansion from the first one. So, I don't know. Like, looks good. Looks good. Other than that, that's E3. That's my view on E3. A real long half hour that most of it was on PlayStation. So, that's me. Whether you like it or not. So now I'm going to kind of think forward what I'm thinking is going to get announced for the rest of the year. So, at least for PlayStation. I'm going to focus on PlayStation because, again, that's the shit I know. Sorry, not sorry. Days Gone, I think we'll get another stage presence at PSX. That's when we're going to get a more firm announcement. On top of that, I think we're going to get a more significant gameplay reel of it, where it's going to show a new side to the game. I think it'll show more of the quest bounty hunter system, like how that works and whatnot. And I think it's going to look better. It's going to look even better than before. It's going to look and run significantly better. It's going to have better gunplay and stuff like that. I think that at PSX we might actually get the Cyberpunk announcement. I think we might see Cyberpunk there. So the new CD Projekt Red game, I think we might see it at PSX. We'll see. I don't know. I have that tingling sensation, along with the Sucker Punch game. I think we're gonna get official announcement at PSX. They're gonna be the marquee lead-off game of here is our heavy. This is their new game, and they're gonna lead the conference, and they're gonna have a significant amount of time. They're probably gonna get 10 to 15 minutes, and it's gonna be gameplay, trailer, and they're gonna talk about it a little bit. But 10 to 15 minutes, easy. I think you're also going to get, their indie section. They're going to talk about, Housemarque, and probably on top of Matterfall being, the newer Housemarque game that's come out for PlayStation. They're probably going to announce a new upcoming Housemarque game that Sony's going to partner with them on. I'm hoping that PSX will also be the time where Supermassive comes out and goes, hey, we have our sequel follow-up to Until Dawn. Whether it is a sequel or a new kind of game like that, exclusive for the PlayStation, that's when that's going to get announced, and it'll come out that next year. FromSoft will come out and announce, hey, Armored Core VR is a thing. That's one of the games we've been working on. It works kind of like Ace Combat, where you don't need to play it in VR, but if you have VR, it'll incorporate real nice. PlayStation VR, exclusive to the PlayStation, blah, blah, blah. And then, on top of that, they will officially announce, hey, Bloodborne 2 is a thing. So, be prepared for that. So that's going to be a part of it. Insomniac, I think, will officially announce that Ratchet & Clank 2 is a thing. They won't have any gameplay ready for it, obviously, but they will officially announce, hey, we're working on it. I think we won't get anything from The Last of Us. I believe that. I don't think we will see anything for The Last of Us Part 2. And I think that Guerrilla won't do anything. I think that the Frozen Wilds will be pretty much the big coup de grace for Guerrilla, and that's about it. They're not going to have anything new to announce. Polyphony will probably come out. And my hope is that by that point, they'll have an announcement on the A-Spec and B-Spec stuff where they're like, we've been here in the community, and we're here to officially announce that for free for everyone that's bought GT Sport, anyone that wants to buy it going forward. A-Spec and B-Spec will be available at In March, it will be officially dropped. Full modes, fully integrated. There's actual full campaign stuff. You know, blah 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 blah, whatever, or whatever. You know, I could see GT Sport having some big patch update kind of thing like that. Media Molecule will be at PSX. They will officially announce, hey, Dreams works as a VR game now. And you know, it's a PS4 game, but it's a VR PS4 game where basically it's a, for lack of a better word, it's basically free to play. It is a free title that is a VR development kit, Project Spark kind of game that you can purchase stuff yourself in terms of like equipment or whatever, like custom ability kind of stuff, but the entire game is a sandbox game. I could see that happening, but preferably I think that's going to be a retail game and it's a VR unit game. But either way, it's going to get shown off at PSX and it's going to have an official date and, you know, all that. It's going to get a little bit of gameplay. And it'll just get pushed out the door. And then I could see Media Molecule, I don't know. Media Molecule scares me. I've talked about it before. But I could see Sony basically collapsing that studio, or in the very least being like, yeah, you're not going to do that again. No, you're not going to do that again. I could see them taking Media Molecule and being like, yeah, here's a new project. Like, you don't get the chance to do something creative like that again. You are going to work on another Little Big Planet. So, suck to suck. Work on a game that's going to basically make us revenue, but something that's using your creative mindset, like a collaborative effort. Because I think Dreams is kind of like Final Fantasy 15. It kind of is just like almost like a sunken cost at this point for Sony in a way, or Sony with with Square Enix with Final Fantasy 15. It's kind of the same thing where it's like, just fucking finish the goddamn thing and push out the door. God damn it. What else? I'm looking over at my shelf for any devs that I'm missing in terms of Kojima Productions. I know some people really miss them with Death Stranding. I still don't think they'll be at PSX, but I do think... Well, let me rephrase that. No gameplay at PSX, but I think we'll get one more character mention. I think it'll be more in-game related. We might get a gameplay section, like a very quick 5-minute gameplay segment to get an idea of what the game is. And we'll get the official announcement of the female character that's going to show up. So we'll have Mads Mikkelsen, Norman Reedus, and then we'll officially see Emma Stone being involved in the project as the female person. And we'll get a better idea of what the exact story is. So on top of that, I could see Konami officially announcing that, hey, we are doing a Metal Gear Solid 4K, 60 frames, blah, 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 complete remaster, or not from the ground up, but port remaster thing, if you will, of the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection. Or maybe not the Metal Gear Solid Collection as much as Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Solid 4 is the only Metal Gear that has not been like remastered or ported or anything. It's only on the PS3. So I would love for Konami to partner with like Blue Point or some studio like that and be like, hey, this is gonna be on the PS4 exclusive, and it's going to be at 4K, 60 frames, and the online's gonna be back. I would buy that in a fucking heartbeat. Hell yeah. So that's my like wish list game. Be like, please be at PSX. That'd be sick. Beyond that, God, I have the hiccups. I am sorry. Beyond that, there's not a lot of huge announcements I can see from Sony. A lot of it's more like, hey, here's more gameplay, some stuff. Like, I assume Spider-Man will be back at PSX. And I think that's smart. Shows more of the open world and whatnot. I could potentially see actually one other kind of out of nowhere announcement. Ready at Dawn doing the Order 1886 sequel. I could see that. I hope it happens because I love the first one. I think it has a lot of potential for a follow-up to really do well. I think it's just they need to give it a chance. But that's kind of like the groundwork for PSX. In terms of the other conferences like Paris Games, that could be where more Detroit gets shown from Sony, along with maybe Wild returning, games that are maybe more imminent. So like God of War gets actual gameplay segment, and things like that. That's where I don't know. Trying to think of anything that's come out in December for PlayStation, but that's where we'll probably get more like either the real far away or the real soon games. So we'll get the both for PlayStation along with Xbox and all that. So for Paris games for PlayStation specific, we'll get Detroit, which is pretty close, and then we'll get Wild. I think we'll touch on Wild again. Gameplay for God of War, and then maybe a more far out title for PlayStation. I don't know what it would be necessarily, but yeah. TGS is gonna be sick. I think we'll obviously get a lot more of like Ni no Kuni 2. We will get Dragon Quest. We will get I think official gameplay of Final Fantasy VII, the remake. Kingdom Hearts 3 I could see, and then I think we'll get some more random other games. But it'll be a lot more busy for the more Japanese-centric games. I think we'll get potentially official announcement of at least one spin-off of Persona 5. And I could see potentially a new kind of Catherine game being worked on and announced. That'd be kind of cool. Or in the very least, like a PS4 port. I would love to play Catherine on the PS4. That'd be fun. Other than that, I mean, Gamescom, I think, is going to be more indie dev related. And I think I could see for Xbox at least, I don't know, Quake Champions maybe be officially announced for Xbox, at least for the first 6 months. Like, exclusive, like, hey, here's a random thing. Champions is going to be on Xbox, along with, like, PlayerUnknown for, 6 months or 3 months or whatever. Or at least launch first on it. And then, Crackdown will get gameplay there and things like that. So I think really the big conference is going to get a lot more noise is going to be PSX. I think TGS is going to be obviously a lot of the Japanese stuff for Nintendo and PlayStation. Gamescom is going to be more indie related, kind of like PAX, but it'll have some stuff for Xbox, maybe a couple things for PlayStation and Nintendo, but really it's more Xbox, I think, and indie related. And then Paris will be more PlayStation centric in terms of the European shit, like Wild and Detroit and things like that. And then PSX. So I don't know. This is fun to do. I miss doing this. I ramble a lot. I know I do. I get on tangents. That's what I do. But I love doing these. I hope you guys enjoy them. Please leave me any feedback, on how I can improve, whether it's like editing related or content related, like in terms of what I talk about or how I talk. If you want me to enunciate better, things like that, whatever, just let me know. I can take constructive feedback if it's constructive, obviously. If you're just going to tell me you suck, obviously I'm just going to look and I go, cool, but you're not telling me how I suck, so that's null and void. If you go in specifically like, you suck at talking, be like, okay, you need to change up how I talk. So, or, using video doesn't do you any good, be like, cool, we'll go back to no video. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I'm looking to do these videos for you guys and for myself. So let me know how I can improve. So hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys for being here and watching. And, I like doing these kind of podcasty kind of stuff. So have a great day. Thank you guys.